So, Dad, there's a question I don't know how to answer. When did you ask Mom to marry you? How did you do it? Was that while you were still at Lorne Park?
I don't remember.
You don't remember anymore, right?
I'm past 95 now.
Oh,
are you really?
91.
God bless you. Well, can you tell us about when you first met Francis?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, that's the biggie, huh? Okay.
It was in the days when they didn't have proper washing for dishes.
Uh-huh.
So I washed dishes.
You wash dishes. And you were very good at it, right?
Tried to be.
Uh-huh. That would be how Don would answer. So then Francis was washing dishes with you?
Scraping.
Scraping. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did a good job of it.
Oh, tell the story about, oh, Mino.
Oh, yes, in school when I gave the wrong answer, the teacher would say, "Oh, my no."
And after they knew that they were friendly, then it was very embarrassing for Mom to hear, "Oh, my no," because it was like teasing, you know? Of course, half embarrassed and half embarrassed and half happy, you know.
Right, okay.
Tell them the story about your postage stamps. I mean, your study cards. You know how they used to call your postage stamp? Because you put study cards on an elastic on your arm?
I've forgotten about that.
Did you forget that? Well, you used to stoke the furnace and weed the garden and hoe and all sorts of things like that with these little cards under an elastic on your arm while you were, so you could keep studying while he was working.
Wow.
Do you want to tell us a story about breaking your jaw, or did you?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yes. A husky young farmer ran into me and broke my jaw.
A young farmer?
While you were playing baseball? I mean, football? You were playing football, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so go on, tell us the rest of the story about having to eat with a straw. Your parents weren't available, so you had to get permission from Aunt Clara for the surgery to wire your jaw shut.
Yes.
Where was the tooth out? One of your teeth? So you had to put a straw in there, and that's the only way you could have nourishment.
Yeah.
And didn't that go over the Christmas season too?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you couldn't really have any Christmas food. You just had to have milkshakes or something.
Yeah.
And over Christmas time, that wasn't any fun, was it?
Not really.
You were probably having visions of pecan pie and and turkey and nothing that it didn't taste much like that, did it?
No, I was wired up for a month.
Really?
Yep.
Now, why don't you tell the story on tape of Buddy,
Buddy.
your horse,
Oh. Yeah.
Dynamite.
Yeah, they posted me up north on the road to Winnipeg. And they bought this horse from the young Baptist minister. When I got down there, he was on crutches, I think. Yeah.
He was what?
On crutches?
He was on crutches.
Oh, on crutches.
Yeah.
And he had called the horse Dynamite.
Oh.
And Dad, we renamed him Buddy, but it didn't make any difference in the temperament.
Oh, really?
Threw me right over his head the very first night I was in it.
Really?
When it took more, I got off him to close the gate. And he just threw me over his head. I was supposed to stay at a farmer's place down the road. And the light went out in the farmer's place before I could get there. But when I went to the door and knocked, he said, well, there's only one way we can get him, is to get one of my team out and walk alongside him, and then when we can step on his reins, then we've got him.
So did that work?
Yeah.
And did he let you stay there overnight at his house, or did you have to go home? You did. Oh, that's
Oh, yes. No, I couldn't go home.
It was too dark, huh? It was too dark?
Well, it was just too far.
Too far. And this was before you met Francis?
No, this was after they were engaged.
Oh, they were engaged.
And then she went back to BC for 1 year. And
Oh,
he
this
went
was the
after
year.
her in
Okay.
Timers for a year.
Yes. So you worked on this farm for a year?
No, he pastored.
Oh, he pastored.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But many of the people were farmers.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had little parsonages.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that was when he started pastoring
Okay. That was the
in
first...
1941.
Okay, 1941. And Dynamite was your ride to get around to the different the different people in your church?
He was the name of the horse by the young Baptist minister.
Uh-huh.
He really called him Dynamite.
Yeah.
I called him Buddy, but it didn't make a peck of difference. He threw me right over his head the first time.
And he ran away from death many times.
Really?
Yeah.
Ran away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Over and over again.
And so that was a tough year for you and Dynamite, right?
Well, I don't think Dynamite cared. Buddy.
Uh-huh, Buddy. So then you and Francis were married after that?
Yes, when I was posted up north.
Hi.
Uh-huh.
There. Okay.
I hear that you spent time up north together in a very harsh climate.
Yes, that's true.
And you had another horse then, right? That wasn't Dynamite anymore, Buddy.
That was Buddy.
Oh, that was still Buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, was it still the same area where you were when you had your first? Okay. So I heard the story that you used a sleigh with Buddy, and you went to different places in the winter time then?
Cutter. What you call it, a cutter.
A cutter. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how you got around in the really high, so it was a lot of snow?
Yes.
Yeah. So how long did you spend there, you and Francis?
5 years.
5 years. Wow.
North, yeah.
So then after that you went to when was it that they went to the college?
Oh, that's how we met in the first place.
Oh, you met at a college, but I think didn't you go to another college in the States?
Oh, yes.
At some point after that?
Yeah.
Well,
Seattle Pacific.
They pastored 1 year in Dunville and 4 years in Norwich, I believe. 3 or 4 in Norwich, and then they went to BC.
Now, when were you born in that?
Daddy lived in Heimers for 5 years.
Uh-huh.
Mom lived there for 4.
Yeah.
And I lived there for 1.
Oh, right. Okay. So that was when he was going to the college then?
No.
That was in the beginning. That was in the North Country?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were born early on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you were born after, 4 years?
Yeah.
After they were married for 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you actually lived there in that...
Actually 3 years, because they were married in 42 and I was born in 45.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they came down south, way south, just in the area where we lived most of our lives.
Uh-huh.
And Dunville lived in the back of the church for 1 year. And then we moved to Norwich, where we had a parsonage.
Uh-huh.
And then, that's where we were when they gave him the car. They fundraised.
Oh, that's nice. So you finally got a car and you got rid of Buddy. Who was a pistol.
Yeah. And then we went out to live with Mom's parents in British Columbia. And Dad went to Washington State.
Okay.
College down there.
Uh-huh. Good.
For 2 years. And he was doing 3 years of work plus he took off a semester to help work in the apples.
Wow.
And when he came back, the middle of the second year, his hair turned white. When he was that young.
So you had white hair for a long, long time, huh? It's a nice color on you.
It was in his early 30s, anyway.
In early 30s, yeah. It must have been the North Country, huh?
No, it was a study. It was a strain of
doing all of that, right, a lot of stress. Very, very stressful.
And we got to live with Grandpa and Grandma Mino. Sorry, James.
James, right. Yeah.
So that was very nice.
Yeah, so you got to know, you were growing up with the James family.
I was 5 and 6, and Lois was 2 and 3, I guess.